How much money do I need to retire? And do I have enough? Do you know the answer? The truth is, most people have no idea what retirement will cost. And when you Google around, you'll either find conflicting or generic advice. Here's the issue though, retirement is not a one size fits all. And some people could retire much earlier than they think, while others might retire too soon. I hope that's not you, but today I'm going to give you 6 key questions to ask yourself to answer whether you might be able to retire. And by answering these questions, you'll begin to have a personalized financial plan. Before we jump into the 6 questions, welcome back. And if I haven't met you yet, my name is Christian Klassen. I own 402 Financial, and I created this channel to help you get the most out of your retirement. The first question you want to ask yourself is, what are my monthly expenses going to be? This is the first thing you want to figure out when it comes to planning if you can retire. Because until you know what these fixed expenses are going to be, you don't really have much to go off of. And generally speaking, many people spend about 80% of what they spent before retirement. But this is just a rule of thumb. I want you to find out what your specific numbers are going to be. So consider the following things. How much is housing going to cost you? Will you carry a mortgage or will your home be fully paid off? Then there are expenses like, what is food going to cost? Utilities, insurance. Let's not forget about healthcare. This is an area where so many retirees tend to underestimate expenses. Is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? If you've been covered under an employer's health plan, it's important to account for expenses such as Medicare premiums or any supplemental insurance you may need. It's also important to leave a little extra space in your plan because you want to make sure you can afford the things you've dreamt about doing. When you retire, you want to travel more, you want to spend time with family, or just be able to spend time doing what you love. But as you know, those things can add up really quickly. You really should set aside a bit more for those types of life experiences. So instead of planning to get by, plan a budget that lets you live the retirement you've always wanted. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are my monthly expenses going to be? Once you have that figured out, the second question you want to ask yourself is, how much will I need if an emergency occurs? The thing with life is it's not just going to stop throwing surprises at you because you happen to be retired. That's why you want an emergency fund set aside. And you should plan to have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses within that fund, because this is what you're going to use when your car needs a major repair or when that surprise hospital visit happens. Whatever emergency might arise, you have this little nest egg to prepare for the unexpected. And the important thing to note here is that this emergency fund is designed to keep the funds accessible, stopping you from dipping into your investments more than you absolutely have to, so you don't mess up your retirement plan. So let's say you have $6,000 in monthly expenses. You'd ideally want there to be $18,000 to $36,000 in savings for these emergencies. And you want to put that money in something like a high yield savings account or money market account. You don't want to put this money in the stock market. Anything focused on something other than safety and liquidity, you don't want it for an emergency fund. Now that we know what monthly expenses are and how much we need in emergency savings, the third question you're going to want to ask yourself is, what is my monthly fixed income? Fixed income really refers to any of the money that is made every month and is guaranteed. So for most people, that includes Social Security, maybe annuity income if you have some, and even a pension if you're lucky enough to have one. Whatever sources you receive from monthly, know this is really going to be the base of your retirement plan. So if you want to figure out how much you're going to receive from Social Security, you want to sign into the Social Security's website and download your benefit statement. And this will tell you how much you'd expect at different ages. And I'll put a link in the description below so you can access that yourself. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, call your plan administrator for a more accurate estimate to see how much you're going to expect to receive. If you have an annuity, the same thing applies. But your guaranteed income is important because it really is just the base of your retirement plan. And this is the money that you can count on regularly and dependably, really free from the fears of the market's ups and downs. So understanding this number positions you to know how much of your expenses are already covered, which leads me into the fourth question, which is, what's the difference between my expenses and my fixed income? This gap is what you're going to need to cover using your retirement savings or other investments. So for instance, let's go back to our example. Say your monthly expenses are $6,000 and your fixed income totals $3,500. Now that leaves us a $2,500 shortfall. But what makes this number important? Well, this gap will tell us precisely how much income your investments really need to generate each month so you can support your lifestyle in such a way that this difference really becomes the benchmark of many different things, such as how much do I need to save? The allocation for my portfolio, what does that look like? And whether you need to delay your retirement timeline or maybe change your spending a bit. So once you've answered all 4 questions, the last 2 questions you got to ask yourself: how much do you have saved? And what income do you reasonably expect to draw from your savings? First, take a close look at your investable assets, which should include IRA accounts, 401ks, and brokerage accounts. Now, let's say you have 350K in a 401k, 200K in an IRA, and 50K in brokerage accounts. That gross total is going to be 600,000. But how much can you safely withdraw each year on an account like this? Now, there's a rule of thumb often called the 4% rule, now known as the 4.7% rule, saying we can withdraw, we'll use the 4.7% rule, per year of your portfolio and not run out of money over the period of a 30-year retirement. And with that sort of rule, a $600,000 portfolio will allow you to withdraw a little over $28,000 annually or a little over $2,300 monthly. Which brings us back to our example. If our gap between fixed income and expenses are $2,500, then that $600,000 portfolio and that $2,300 that comes with it might not cut it for what you need. Here's the thing, the 4.7% rule, it isn't perfect, and you shouldn't base your entire retirement plan off of it. It's just a great place to start. So first, find out how much you can get from your investments and compare that against your gap. And if your portfolio is short, you can consider delaying things like Social Security so you can get higher payments when you finally do get started. Or maybe you have to cut out expenses and be extra frugal in areas without impacting quality of life. Either way, by reflecting on these 6 questions, you're going to have a much clearer picture of what retirement can look like. But I don't want you to stop here. This is the beginning. And if you're ready to go deeper, I'm going to throw an offer out. If you use the link in the description below, I'm going to help the first few people who respond. And all you need to do is answer a few questions, and I'm going to be able to help answer these questions in this video and really give you a personalized video walking through your numbers and understand really where you're at, where you want to go. I might even be able to give you a few thoughts on how to close the gap if there is one. So if you're interested, this is a free offer. Just use the link in the description below, and I'll help you create your very own plan so that you can retire with confidence. Just know if this gets to be a bit much, it might take me some time to get back to y'all. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.